and let's focus on the positives. I'm calling it Positive Monday. And, first of all, Rajon Neal, that's the most yards rushing by a running back at Tennessee since 2009. He had 169 yards. This football team, Team 117, has had three 200-plus yard rushing games. We had three combined from a span of 2010 to 2012. We currently lead the SEC, and we're 8th in the country in fewest penalties at a little over 3 penalties per game. We lead the SEC, and we're 4th in the country in fewest penalty yardage. We're tied for number 1 in the country in interceptions with 11. We lead the SEC, and we're 3rd in the country with 15 forced turnovers. We lead the SEC, and we're 10th in the country in points off of turnovers. Our first 2 touchdowns in this past week's game were scored by 2 true freshmen, both making their first career touchdown receptions. We've right now played a total of 14 true freshmen and 22 freshmen overall. As we continue to progress, the evolution of this football team is understanding what it is to compete for 60 minutes. It's a 60-minute game. And I spoke to our team about there's a difference between playing the game and competing. And we're searching for competitive greatness. And high achievement takes place in the framework of high expectations. And we have extremely high expectations for every member within our football family and our football program, from the coaches to the players to the support staff. It's our players understanding that every play has a life of its own. And you have to play that play to the best of your ability and then snap and clear. But you must have that mindset that every play is its own life. And that's part of that mental conditioning, that snap and clear mentality that we talk about all the time. We talk about playing winning football. I understand that that's a very, very broad term. A lot of things go into it. Our players are responsible for getting themselves ready to play week in and week out. And, we live in a society where everything is based on productivity, but there's everyone in our program and in our football organization is going to be held to the highest standard, and it's that high level of accountability that we talk about. Right now, we have some major depth issues, and I think it's starting to be revealed. I think it's starting to show itself. We had 2 individuals that had monumental games for us. A.J. Johnson took 83 snaps at linebacker. Dontavius Sapp took 82 snaps at linebacker, plus 12 snaps on special teams. Every single rep you take accumulates over time throughout the course of a grind of a long season. And that's where we're at, and we have to continue to recruit and develop depth upon our football team. But, we have too many individuals playing way too many reps. Our corners, both our starting corners, were in the high 70s in terms of repetitions on Saturday. And again, throughout the course of a long season, that can't happen. I thought we had some tough circumstances Saturday. A lot we created for ourselves. But at the end of the day, our players made the plays that they needed to win the football game. We had a game-winning stop defensively. We had some red zone stops prior to that. We had to run the clock out running the ball. We were able to do that. I thought we had some individuals really give tremendous effort. The first individual that comes to mind is Corey Miller. Thought he played his best, most complete game since we have been here. And his effort was outstanding. And, for us to achieve, again, we have to be high achievers. And we have to be overachievers. And we have to have 63 effort and strain. I thought the first half we had that. I thought we played pretty well in the first half, and then I thought we got sloppy as the game wore on, and that's illustrated by the way we played in the third and fourth quarter, and we can't do that. Our players, again, have to learn what it takes to play winning football for 60 minutes. I've said it. I think, all those things, we're going to be a disciplined football team, and I think, those are illustrations of how far this football team has come. I like the work ethic. I like the mentality of our players. I like everything that we're doing, but we just have to continue to progress. And one of those areas is we cannot turn the football over. It is inexcusable. And that's making good choices and good decisions with the football. And, so I think that's been kind of, the one area when you look to in terms of being a disciplined football team that we have to take great strides and continue to move forward. We've been careless with the football when we throw it, and we can't continue to have those catastrophic mistakes as we move forward with this football team. I think we all know what we're up against with the Georgia football team coming in here on Saturday at 3:30. Extremely, extremely talented. Their quarterback is as good as any quarterback in the country. He's a Sunday quarterback. He can make all the throws. Very, very skilled on the perimeter. A big physical offensive line with two really three running backs. I look at their football program. They have tremendous depth in all three phases, offensively, defensively, and special teams. And it's going to be a great challenge for us, just like every week. But it's another opportunity. We said we needed to have win 3, and we got win 3. And we're 3-2, and there's a lot of positive things moving forward, and we just have to continue to get better and work on being a much more disciplined football team, especially in the areas of taking care of the football. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Devon Swafford didn't play much after the first quarter. Was he banged up, or was Duran just playing better?
No, we had some things in terms of, some matchups, and some mental errors. So Jerron Tony, I think, is another illustration of an individual who's has been a walk-on in our football program, has earned a scholarship, and he came in and was with Coach Martinez all week wanting extra film study, preparing. We've been on him exceptionally hard, and we thought he played his best football to date, and he really helped us win that football game. Well, I think a number of things. I think it was time. First of all, it's an opportunity on national television, CBS, 3:30, against a great opponent in Georgia. Obviously recruiting. Players look forward to seeing the different uniforms, and it's something that I think our fan base has been waiting for. And so I know our players have been looking forward to wearing them. I think our fan base, but, that makes no impact in the outcome of the game. We have to play the game. The game is one between the lines, but, we just thought that the timing was appropriate.
What you mentioned after the game, it's been a grind for your players. Your turnover numbers, your penalty numbers up the last 2 games compared to the first part of the season. How do you manage this team when you reference the snaps and the lack of depth? How do you manage them week to week?
Well, that's a balancing act, and that's where we come in as coaches, and I think you have to be cognizant of every single snap that they take in practice, and we need quality reps, and we need quantity too to develop the fundamentals. And that's the thing is football is a fundamental football game. Body position, being able to tackle in space, blocking, everything is body position, the route runnings, the small details. And I thought, in the second half, we lacked the small details, which in turn lends itself to big details. So I think it's a balancing act, so we need quality repetitions this week, and we have to make sure that we really map out the repetitions, which we do every week, that they gain in practice. How did they perform? And it's developing our other players, and we need some other players in the program to step up. And, every player has an opportunity to perform on Saturday based on their performance in practice. And that's part of developing a winning culture. That's part of the standard and the expectations that we have set place in this football program. There is absolutely zero entitlement. If you don't practice well in practice, you're not going to play on Saturday. I've never been around what they call gamers, where they just show up and perform at their highest level on game day. The great players have a great high standard of consistency in performance each and every day in practice, and that in turn lends itself to playing well on game day. So, every individual every week has an opportunity to play on the game. It's what they do with those repetitions in practice.
The sloppiness in the second half, is that because you have a 31-7 lead or a fatigued football team?
I wouldn't say fatigued football team. I would say learning what it takes to play 60 minutes of football in that focus and that concentration. And turnovers. turnovers can change the complexion of a game. We're down right before halftime going in with the ball on the 2 or 3 yard line, and we come away with 0 points, and then we continue to have turnovers, and you can't turn the football over. Anytime you turn the football over, it lends itself for the other team to have the opportunity to get back in the game. I just think it's taking care of the small details. You treat every play as though it's going to be a game-winning play. Who would have known? I thought one of the plays of the game was on the field goal that went wrong. Is they do a great job of advancing it, and the effort by Corey Miller to get the ball carrier down was outstanding. And they came away with 0 points. They missed a field goal. Little did Corey Miller know if before the start of that play, if somebody would have said, hey, run that guy down, this is going to be the difference between winning and losing. And that's the mindset that we're building, is sometimes a game can come down to 2 to 3 plays that directly impact whether you win or lose. But you never know what plays they are. That's why you treat every play as though it's a life of its own. And that's the mentality that we're building. And creating those habits are exceptionally hard to do. And you're either creating good habits or bad habits. And I thought a lot of guys, when we got into the game and it was 31-7, we reverted back to some old habits, which cannot happen. And you just have to keep grinding, and our players completely understand. We showed them already the video clips of 3 or 4 clips that they had no idea that would be the difference between winning and losing. And all the clips were effort clips. So again, in order to overachieve and keep getting better, it starts with effort and the fundamentals, the small details.
Which I know it's tough to separate it like this, but when you look at their offense, Georgia's offense, first thing you think about, is it Murray or is it the running backs, or what's your first thought when you think about them?
Well, that's what makes them exceptionally hard to defend, is they can run the football. And then you have an NFL quarterback who can make all the throws, But this is a line of scrimmage league. It starts first and foremost with stopping the run. And then we have to win our one-on-one matchups on the perimeter. And, the makings of a great quarterback, their great quarterbacks have the ability to defeat tight coverage and throw it in there. And Murray can defeat tight coverage, That's what makes him a special player. He's poised. He's in control. Their offense, a lot of these guys are seniors or juniors. They're a veteran group. They've been in big games before, and now they play like it. They have a lot of confidence.
But you talk about the corners. Malik Foreman hasn't played in the last couple of games. What's kind of going on with him? And I know you just got Michael and Riyad back, but how close were they to being able to play on Saturday?
Yeah. This past Saturday, Michael and Riyad weren't ready yet. They just started practice, and it takes time to get your skill set back, to get your conditioning levels back, your football endurance, but also your mentality, your functional intelligence. And, football is a game that's played at high speed with quick snap decisions that have to be made. So, they weren't ready yet. Malik continues to progress, and he's a freshman, and, they're like your own children. Each individual progresses at different paces. And I love Malik. He's competitive. He's working hard to get better each and every week. But, right now, he needs to have a good week of preparation, and I know he's looking forward to that.
Can you give us an injury update on Marlon Lane?
Yeah. Marlon Lane right now, suffered a lower extremity injury. He's day-to-day right now, so we'll know a little bit more probably later today and into Tuesday and Wednesday. He will not practice today. And, can't say enough about Rajon Neal. He stepped it up when he needed to step it up. When we needed him, he stepped it up and he played his best game to date. And I think those are all great stories that are occurring, and that's part of that overachieving that we've been speaking about.
What's the difference you saw in Rajon on Saturday versus maybe earlier?
Attacking. Decisive in his run reads, getting the ball north and south, making defenders miss. I thought he played at another gear. He showed some bursts and acceleration. He made individuals miss. And obviously moving forward against the talent of a Georgia defense, we're going to need his durability, and we're going to need some playmaking ability.
Coach, in the first 3 games, just 1 interception, he's had 5 the last 2. Is he being more aggressive in his throws? It seems like there's more downfield throws, or is that just why the more interceptions these last couple ball games?
I think, one of them again, everything lends itself to the quarterback. The quarterback is 1 out of 11 on the field. There's 10 other players on the field. And I think to the naked eye, the quarterback, like I said, blame, you get all the blame when you lose, and you get all the praise when you win. And praise and blame, it's all the same. And the one interception, we didn't do a good job in our pass protection and getting the hands of the defender down. We were supposed to be in a cut block protection. We didn't get the defender down. We're in a 3-step drop, and he tips the ball, and they intercept. Justin made the right read. He did his job. And so I think it's all individuals stepping up around him. I think it's the receivers being more precise in their route running, and then I think it's Justin at times throwing the ball away and making good choices and good decisions with the football. And I think sometimes, you get into a mental rut where you're saying, don't make a mistake, and you make a mistake. He just has to believe in his coaching, believe in his practice repetitions, and those are things that really, when individuals are really starting, for the first time, and I know he played some games a couple years ago, but, he had a year off. Those are all growing pains that you go through with a quarterback. But believe me, there's a great sense of urgency. We have to get those mistakes corrected. But it's not just on Justin Worley. We have to do a better job of coaching him, and our players around him. So, again, he's just 1 of 11, but all eyes obviously point to him.
But you said the true freshman quarterbacks weren't ready yet Saturday. How close are they to being ready?
Well, I think as the season progresses, each week they get closer, but you'll never really know until, they go into live game repetitions. But, I see these kids every day. I'm in meetings with them every day. I watch their demeanor in pregame warm-ups, and it's one thing when you go into a game and you say, I may play, and, if we get ahead, or, if something happens, no pressure, and then all of a sudden you can see a little bit difference in their demeanor when they say, I'm 1 snap away from playing and taking some meaningful mistakes. And I watch all that. And again, these are 17, 18-year-old young adults, be playing in front of 100,000 people, national television, against some great defenses, So, again, as much as everyone wants to see them, it's my job and it's my responsibility to them, to their parents, and to our football program to not put them in, if given that luxury, until they're ready. And in our professional opinion right now, they haven't been ready. Will that change this week? It may change based on how they handle practice. How can they handle the volume of a game plan? How can they, handle the game speed repetitions? But I'm excited about both quarterbacks, both true freshman quarterbacks. They're great competitors. They're very good football players, and they want to play. And now, it's making sure that we can prepare them to the best they can before they get those reps.
I guess Gurley's status is uncertain for Georgia this week. You got to see a little bit of Georgia without him Saturday. How much of a different offense are they when he's not in there?
Well, make no mistake about it, he's a great player, but there's no difference in their offense. Marshall is just as good. And I said, when I started the press conference off, they have depth. And Coach Richt has been there a number of years. He's been able to grow and develop that depth through the recruiting process and has done a great job with it. And, building depth takes time. It takes years and years to get that depth, and they definitely have it.
Coach, I think you played 14 true freshmen. Is that about what you expected overall? And you do a lot of stuff with recruiting in mind.
Yeah.
Is that something that you feel like recruits are taking notice of when you have conversations with them?
Well, they do. I think, prospective student athletes or recruits can look and say, hey, I can go to Tennessee and have an opportunity to play early and play as a true freshman, and I think that's a great selling point. But above all else it's the University of Tennessee, one of the most storied football programs in the country. And I said it, is we want individuals in recruiting that have great competitive character, but also want a little bit of that onus to say, hey, you know what? I have the ability to create a legacy of getting Tennessee football back to its rightful place. In today's world of convenience, it's easy for somebody somewhere to go to maybe a more established program right now and just kind of filter in. If you want to be the individual, if you want to step up and make a difference, you come to the University of Tennessee. And that's why I keep saying we recruit competitive character. That's what I'm looking for. You know, you either live it, love it, or like it. And I want individuals who live football every day and live getting a college education every day. That's what our program is going to be based on, competitiveness. The thing about the 14 true freshmen playing is, you know, we don't have the luxury right now is when I look at true freshmen playing, I look at their roles on the football team. You know, a lot of these 14 individuals, their role just isn't in the form of special teams and maybe getting 8 to 10 snaps. You know, you look at Cam Sutton, I believe he had 78 snaps on Saturday, true freshman. You know, so a lot of these true freshmen are in roles that really directly dictate whether you win or lose. And it's exciting, but also, you know, takes a lot of coaching, takes a lot of commitment on their part of it, you know, because you think about it, you know, you're a lot different going from 18 playing against 22, 23-year-old individuals. There's a big difference in the growth and maturation throughout that time span.
I know some of it's necessity, but how much of it has been necessity and how much of it has been because guys have earned it on the field?
Well, I think it's a combination of both, and make no mistake about it, all the freshmen that are playing have earned the right. If they didn't earn the right, they wouldn't be on the football field. You know, we would find somebody else. I think that's the thing moving forward that I've tried to stress to everyone in our program. You're responsible for what you create. Every individual creates his own identity, his own body of work every day by the way he goes to class, by the way he approaches the meetings, and by the way they perform on the practice field. You know, and nothing's going to be given. Everything is earned. But they've earned that right. But also, you know, it's been a necessity. You know, we have to get to a point in our program, which we will, is that every single position is you're competing whether you're going to play or not on Saturday. You know, and competition is the mother to all getting better. I mean, if you think about it, you're going to push, you know, if you had, you know, if everyone in here didn't have any rivals or you didn't have any competition for your news outlets, you'd probably just kind of go with the flow. But everyone's trying to outwork everyone and find every little small breaking news item, and that's because of competition. It's no different in football and in our program, in our organization.
Coach Jones, due to his history with Georgia, do you anticipate Coach Martinez maybe wanting this game a little more or being any different this week?
No, you know, every game is critical. And, you know, along with Coach Martinez and Coach Jancic, you know, I know they spent a number of years at the University of Georgia. And, you know, but they're at Tennessee, and every game is critical for us. And you don't treat any game different than the next one. You know, it's the next one, and we're all trying to win. And so, you know, you look at your opponent, and you don't get any, you know, personal feelings aside from anything. And I know they're excited to be here and be part of our football program.
We talked a lot about eye discipline this year with the guy as accomplished as Murray in the play action game off their run game. How big of a concern is that this week?
Big concern. You know, he does a great job with his ball mechanics, you know, of hiding the ball on play action. And we always look, you know, does the run look exactly the same, you know, as the pass? And then, you know, what type of run pass keys does the offensive line give you? And they do a great job in that area. So, again, the eye discipline is going to be critical. And then, obviously, when you have a formidable run game and you're physical and you can run the football, now all of a sudden in your mindset you're trying to stop the run, and that lends itself to big explosive plays in the pass game. So, you know, it'll be the same this week, is really stressing the small details and body position.
But you talked about two games, you've had 7 possessions that started on the plus end of the field, and you've only converted that into 1 field goal. How frustrating has that been not to take advantage of those opportunities?
Well, we have to take advantage of them. We pride ourselves in scoring touchdowns in the red zone, and that's part of the plan to win, is make your opponents kick field goals in the red zone and score touchdowns in the red zone. And we work an inordinate amount of time in the red zone area every day in practice. So, you know, when our defense generates a turnover, you know, you talk about creating your own opportunities and your own momentum swings, you know, you need to come away with 7 points. And, you know, the first turnover with McNeil's interception, you know, we came away with 3 points. We need 7 points. But also I think Mike Pilardi, you know, so far to date has been a model of consistency for us too.
But you talked after the game about what what happened with Tiny at the end of the game. He kind of had a tweet later in the day where he kind of maybe aired some frustration with maybe what some fans were saying to him or about him or something. But did you address that with him? And maybe what was his?
Yeah, I guess it gets back to you trying to find the competitive edge. These are kids that are very competitive. They sit and they watch other games, and we challenged our offensive line that we needed to run the football. And I think, it's more running it probably more at a consistent basis, but they're also very prideful, and so I think it was more, he was very proud of what they accomplished. I already gave you the stat, with the 3 200-plus yard run games, and they're very prideful, and I know he didn't mean anything by it. I think a lot of times we read into things. I think we're searching for stories, and again, these are still kids. These are still young adults that are emotional, but he meant no harm by it. I watch every Twitter. They know me. As soon as he tweeted it, I called him, and he was laughing. He goes, "Coach, I'm just proud of my teammates." So, again, that's part of building this program and teaching these players maybe, again, all the different nuances that go outside of football. That's the role of coaches. It's not just coaching football, it's mentoring. But, I love Tiny, and he loves his football program.
We're up against a couple pressures there with the game on the line, including the one sack. How do you feel about just the City Group pass rush at this point in time, and how critical is that going to be with a guy like Murray back there?
Oh, it's going to be critical. If we give him time to sit back and throw the football, it's going to be a long day. Just like anybody in the country, if you give Murray time to throw the football, he's going to hurt you. I really liked our mentality at the end of the game. And now, it's the same thing about each play having a life of its own. We need to come off the football in obvious pass rush situations with a mentality that the game is on the line. I saw a whole nother speed level off the rush, off the edges of our defense from, Corey Miller to Vereen. I thought Vereen gave us some extremely valuable repetitions. Marlon Walls, I tell you what, some of the effort plays that he had Saturday, I showed our football team. That's what we're looking for on a consistent basis. So it's that mindset of every time you rush the passer, the game's on the line. And, the good thing, I try to find positives in everything. We won the football game. We found a way to win. Our resiliency was tested. We found a way to win a football game. But also, you need to be in football games like this. So say down the road when we're in SEC play and we get in that situation before, our players have lived it. They've been in that situation. They have confidence because they did well in those situations. Our kids, the great thing is we come in the locker room, and even yesterday, they're excited with the win. I think, when you win, it's special. Winning is very fragile. Half the college football teams in the country lost Saturday. And let's make sure our fans, everyone here, we don't take winning for granted. A win is a win. We needed to get to victory number 3. We got to victory number 3. There is no such thing as an ugly win. They all count the same. It's a win. Now, do we all know our challenges and where we need to go to continue to progress and get better? Absolutely. But I'm proud of our kids that they fought and they didn't give up. They fought to the bitter end, and they made a play, and that was great to see.
Coach, can you talk about Cam Sutton and his progress? And I noticed a couple times in the end zone, too, he was breaking up passes.
Yeah.
To save the score.
They went after him, and he knows that. At being a freshman, you're going to get challenged. And I think what you see in Cam Sutton is a high level of consistency. I mean, every single day, he's the same person. He's never too high. He's never too low. The way his total approach to practice, to the games, he's mature beyond his age. And, he's an individual who's earned the right to play, but also he's been playing out of necessity, and he's taken the most of his opportunity. This week, he's going to be challenged. And this is where Georgia hurts you, is, with Murray, you can be in great man-to-man coverage, and they throw the fade stop as well as anyone, the back shoulder throw. They've mastered that. So you can't be right. So you just have to continue to stay in phase. But, they're very, very skilled. And when you have a skilled quarterback like that, we understand he's going to be challenged this week, just like, Coleman is as well. But we're extremely, extremely excited and proud of Cam.
What did you like when
got out of Jason Kroom on Saturday. Had
I
both
did.
nice catches.
I thought Jason Kroom played the best that he's played since we have been here. He made some difficult catches. He played physical. He blocked on the perimeter. And, we challenged him this week. That's one thing about Coach Azani. He has the reputation around the country that he's going to get the most out of his players. And he challenges them every day. But, again, you look at Jason, I thought he played his best football. And there's a reason why, again, individuals, perform at a high level. I keep saying it. Antonio Brown was well coached, developed. You look at Kembrell Tompkins last night. Greatest story in the National Football League, hands down. Undrafted, rookie, free agent, New England Patriots. And for him to perform like he performed, I called him this morning. That's like a second son to me. I'm extremely proud of him. But all the challenges and everything that we pushed him through, and now he's making the most of his opportunity. And that's the way we're going to develop players here. We're going to push them every day. We're going to love them. And we're going to make sure that when they leave the University of Tennessee, they develop to meet their fullest potential. Thank you.